Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Frames TM. And today I'm going to talk about the new news that's coming in. I just saw, thanks to Matarin, who brought it to my notice, that there's a new conversation going on Nikon rumors. And if it turns out to be a reality, we have in our hands a fantastic firmware update for the Nikon Z9 and the Z8. I do not know if any other camera brand has done so much for a camera like the Z9. I mean, see what the camera was when it was launched, and I mean, it was already a phenomenal camera, but by the end of almost 2 years now, it's like I've said before, it's like Z9 version 3. And now if this all of this comes true, this is going to be Z9 version 4 in my mind. And the timing is fantastic. The timing is amazing because, all the conversation, all the talk about the Sony's new launch of A9 III, it all makes sense. So let me take you through what Nikon Rumors has spoken about. They've said, let me explain, because it may be cryptic there when you read it. Basically, now, if this turns out to be the reality, we are now going to have 30 fps in raw continuous shooting. Right now the Z9 and Z8 has 20 frames per second. That's the highest you can go while shooting raw in full resolution. Now with this new firmware update, you can actually go as high as 30 frames per second, matching the A1. That's great, but not only that, you will have quick changing mode, quick switch mode, like the implementation on A9 Mark III. Like, you probably map it to your button, where you, on the moment you click on it, it's going to move from continuous shooting mode 30 frames per second to continuous shooting mode 120 frames per second, basically C30 to C120 mode. And you can just make that switch based on pressing a function button. Now that 120 frames per second, that's going to be in JPEG, yes, but the ability to do that, first the upgrade from 20 frames per second in RAW to 30 frames per second in RAW, and then to be able to quickly switch between these two modes, that's a significant news. Then you're going to have that. With this, you're going to have this other thing, C60, or continuous burst shooting mode 60, where you're going to have full capture FX burst shooting mode, where you'll essentially shoot 60 images on the trot, right? The first shot is going to be a full resolution raw 45 megapixel shot, followed by two JPEGs 11 megapixels in a cyclical form, which means that you're going to get out of this, in the 60 continuous burst, you're going to get 20 full resolution raw image and 40 11 megapixel images. So essentially, that's going to, Nikon Rumor says that it's going to take care of the critical moment, and you have high chance, because the shots are interspersed, you have a very high chance that you're going to get the raw images placed in the most important situations. So again, if this comes true, this is going to be a very smart hack by Nikon to maximize the ability of the Nikon Z8 and the Z9. So sufficient frame rate to balance high resolution with the possibility of capturing decisive moments. Now, secondly, for video, a new log curve extremely close to log C4, which will be created, or in the process of being created, for NRAW, to maximize encoder efficiency and record the sensor's original color space. Now, I did a bit of search to find out what is C-log4. Log C4 is the new log curve. So I did not see C-log4, I found log C4, and it is a new log curve developed by ARRI to accurately describe their new sensors dynamic range. So they also talk about they also speak the same language. They talk about being true to the image produced by the sensor itself. So essentially, the log C4 gives you a flatter image, and therefore it can capture more in the highlight and more in the shadows without losing quality in the image. So I think if that again comes true, we're going to see the N-log getting turbocharged with this new log format. I'm so looking forward to it as I increase my as I continue to sort of do more work with log footages. Now, another quick hack that you're hearing news on is it may be able to shoot 8.3K 120 frames per second burst video mode, shooting only for 2.5 seconds. So maybe there are those situations where you want 8K plus and you want a high frames per second, because it's already doing it, right? If you just turn it into, if you just put them together, it becomes a video, and it becomes an 8K video. When you bring it down to 24 frames per second, it's a slow motion 8K video for about what I think 4 times 10 seconds. That's not bad at all, right? So that's very, very smart. If Nikon pulls that off, again, I think kudos to them. I'm so looking forward to it. I don't know when this new firmware comes out, but this is sounding so exciting right now. Okay, there's more actually now. It uses the same high speed, but there is more. Anamorphic lens support. The recent Z6 III video that I did, my anticipation and my prediction on Z6 III, I'm going to link that video below in the description, where I talk about multiple things. One of the things I talk about there is that Nikon should actually, I said Z6 III should have anamorphic lens support. Why do I say that? Because if you look at, the standard really is Panasonic there, the Panasonic's S5 Mark II. In fact, the Panasonic's S5, they give you anamorphic lens support. Anamorphic lens support. So this is a huge news for all the filmmakers who are looking at the Nikon Z system, but probably holding themselves back because you don't have some of these very basic things, very cinema line things. Now, if this comes true, that's a qualifier. We're going to get anamorphic lens support, and it will give us D-squeeze of 1.33 times, 1.5 times, 1.6 times, 1.8 times, and even 2 times. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4 different options. I think the FX3 gives you only 1.33 times, if I'm not wrong. You can just Google and check that out. But if this comes true, we are going to have 4 D-squeeze options: 1.3, 1.5, 1.6, and 1.8 and 2. Yes, 5 D-squeeze options, not 4. Not only that, we might also see full format FX format, as in full screen without any crop, 45 megapixel open gate, 3:2 30 fps raw video recording. That's more than 8K. Okay, and that's a full sensor readout at 3:2 ratio, 30 fps open gate. This is brilliant. I am so rooting for Nikon right now. I'm looking forward to it. And the only thing that I don't want to happen is that I don't want all these things to come to Z9 only, and then for the Z8 you wait for another year. I think we have already waited for such a long time for the Z8. I think it's okay if Nikon gives us this firmware update now, because it's already been out for 6 months. I'm guessing this is going to come in the next 2.5, 3 months. So it's going to be close to a year. And so I'm expecting this to happen for both these cameras. And this is exciting. Let me know what you think of this. I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to your comments. And the key thing is I'm curious to know how if this happens, how do things change for Sony and Nikon? Okay, Canon is a bit quiet right now. We don't know what's really going on in that camp. But if this happens, the dynamic and the landscape is changing. It's very exciting. What is your opinion on it? Let me know. I'm going to see you soon with another one soon.